This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace.
Last year, I went through many different life changes. I needed to take a pause and examine how I was feeling in the inside to better show up for the ones who need me to be my best version of myself.
When you're navigating life's changes, Talkspace can help. Talkspace is the #1 rated online therapy, bringing you professional support from licensed therapists and psychiatry providers that you can access anytime, anywhere.
Living a busy life, navigating a long-distance relationship, becoming a first-step father, Talkspace made all of those journeys possible. I could speak with my therapist in the office. I could speak with my therapist in the comfort of my home. I was never alone.
Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance, no problem. Now get $80 off your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
So you're running out of closet space. The good news? You don't need to stop shopping. You just need to start selling with The RealReal. The RealReal is the world's largest and most trusted resource for authenticated luxury resale. Whether it's that mini bag that can't even fit your phone, or those boots you never fully broke in, The RealReal handles everything from photography and copywriting to shipping and pricing. So you can just sit back, get paid, and make room for things that actually feel like you. And with 10,000 plus new arrivals every single day from top designers like Prada, Celine, Louis Vuitton, and Loewe, all for up to 90% off retail, you're bound to find something perfectly on brand to fill that extra closet space with. Plus, right now, you can get an extra $100 to shop when you sell for the first time. Make room for what feels like you. Go to therealreal.com to start selling and get your extra $100 to keep shopping at therealreal.com. That's therealreal.com. Terms apply.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard with you. We are live in downtown Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Busy 3-hour program lined up today. A lot of guests. We have a lot of games to get to tonight in the NBA, the NHL, and college basketball. Mike DeCourcy, college basketball in 30 minutes. A lot to discuss there with him. The Darren Peterson situation, Miami of Ohio, what happens if they actually lose, maybe in the conference tournament. Paul Stone, the defending college basketball contest winner here on VSiN. That begins this weekend. He's on the show in an hour. Dan Leberfeld, we'll talk some NFL with him, Jets Whispers. Jonathan Davis on the very elongated NHL schedule tonight, and Steve Witz with best bets in soccer. How about that? Anytime that it scares me a little bit that you want to overhype something or, superstition sets in, whatever. So our producer Luke pops on the program yesterday for the first time in a long time, and the first time since the beginning of something that he is calling the angle in college basketball that he really started to put together back in late January. It was 35-10. Last 45 plays. He gives out 2 more plays that fit the angle last night. Whammo. 2-0, but it was not easy. So 37-10 last 4. Can you believe this?
Rocking chair. Come on. What are you talking about?
Oh, I got all the details, Paulie.
Yeah, Marymount down 15. Incredible. They come all the way back and get it done. And both games were an incredible sweat. Both teams were down big and epic comebacks. Talking to our guy, Jordan Scott, because he likes to buy 1.5 or 2 maybe on a game. If you would buy 2 points on every play Luke has given out, you're 42-4.
Wow. If
you want to, or, you can throw these in teasers, whatever. But that just shows you how these closies have been in the sweats. And to hit 8 in a row, and now 79% overall, but to hit 8 in a row and every single spread has been plus 1.5.
Well, but how about this then, too? Let's say that the projection sites were right and the betting market would have agreed with them last night and the winning teams would have been favored. They don't cover. Both teams won by a point. Mm-hmm. So if they were laying 1.5 or 2, those are losing bets against the spread. But somehow, some way, here's what happened. And now we have, this is awesome, members of the Follow the Money Army, part of the Luke DeVasta Brigade as well on X. They're watching all these games. I mean, really rolling up the sleeves here and getting dirty. But Charlotte was down 10 in the second half. They won the game on an offensive rebound, and a free throw shooter went to the line who is shooting 60% on the year, swishes both. This is from Andrew. He watched the entire thing. North Texas, bad three-point shooting team. They went bananas from deep, and they blew a dunk that put him up. That would have put him up in the game. Missed a dunk. Now, this is not going to go. I don't even know how many more games we're going to have for the rest of the year. It's certainly not going to win every single time, but
why not?
Well, enjoy it while you can.
Let's hit 15 in a row.
Okay.
Maybe you can do this, and I like the play tonight. Eastern Washington's won 6 in a row. Again, it's plus 1.5, and they're coming off a nice win where they beat Portland State, who's number 1 in the Big Sky.
Mm-hmm.
So let's keep rocking and rolling here. And this is phenomenal work.
The other game was Loyola Marymount, trailing by 15 at halftime. This is a tweet from 2019 beat Cancer. Congratulations, by the way. That's outstanding. So LMU was up 66-63 with 7.5 seconds left. They had a guy going to the free throw line shooting 37% on the year, 10 of 26 on the season. And as he tweeted, front end of the 1-and-1, he missed a free throw so badly that he banked it in. And they eventually won by 1. Yeah, I mean, this is like
something.
I mean,
great in play, too.
Breathe it in, my friends.
Like he said yesterday, though, a lot of times they're getting off to a hot lead or a nice start.
Right.
And a good-sized lead. Here we had to play catch-up. So they won, but unfortunately there were some incredible sweats. But 8 in a row, and that's great. Eastern Washington tonight fits the angle.
Luke,
so let's keep it going.
Is that number? I haven't checked in a long time. I know you tweeted it out last night, Luke. Is that number still available? Okay, he's looking at that right now.
While he's checking, too, it's also great that we're all on the same page here. And we get ready for the madness next week and the smaller conference tournament start. Everyone coming out with some good tidbits and notes. You know, I got a good tweet on Instagram, good message on Instagram. Navy's won 12 in a row. They're burying people. 27, 28, 19, 16, 30, 17, blowing opponents out. Just got a tweet before the show. Cal Riverside, who plays tonight, 10-0 overrun on their team total. You know, the Cal Baptist game moved 9 points, 125 up to 134 with the total. So there's a lot of good tidbits. A lot of people are following stuff here now that we're getting down to March.
Yep. Luke just said that he checked several books. It's still available on Eastern Washington tonight at plus 1.5. Is UConn now the other number 1 seed, the fourth and final one? I mean, St. John scored 14 points in the second half. I don't know how a team at this level misses their final 24 shots in a college basketball game.
Yeah.
And they didn't make a basket in the final 17.5 minutes of the contest.
What happened? Strange. The long winning streak, they're playing so well. Yeah, maybe they should have more conversation when they're having breakfast. That ticked off Patino, but he owned it afterwards and just said it's on him. And the only time that's happened to him was when they had a bunch of walk-ons when they went to Kansas, going back down memory lane. So he's right. They can still win the conference or share a conference title. Got the split. He's also right. Doesn't matter if you lose by 2 or 40. But to go 17 minutes without a basket, that is tough.
Yep.
And that is just embarrassing what happened. But great job by the crowd at Hartford and a great job by UConn getting the blowout win and a great call by Humans, who was on it with a rocking chair winner. Also nice call on San Diego State that he had as well. So it was a good run with the picks last night with the college.
Yep. And thank God I did not chase because I said on the air yesterday I was going to bet St. John's plus the 6. The number moved. The market liked him as well. And I'm like, I'm not taking a bad number at this point. And, oh, boy, doesn't matter if I took 6 or 26 in that game. That wasn't going to win. So at Bracket Matrix, UConn is the number 1 seed. And, again, for those who don't know, Bracket Matrix is kind of an aggregate of, 100-plus people who do bracketology. And they combine them and they spit out like an average number. They're pretty much number 1. According to almost everybody. The average seed for UConn now is 1.13 after last night. Bart Torvik, though, their average seed is 1.8, and still the most frequent seed when making the tournament for him is a 2. And prediction markets right now, UConn is 69% to get it. I'll tell you again, though, the team that scares me, and I know that we're going to do this a little bit later on with 3 teams versus the field, Florida, they are playing out of their minds right now.
And second half came in again.
Tip of the cap to David Behrman, who has been and his son, by the way, evidently as well, because I tweeted back at him last night. I said, man, that's been a great catch by you. And as they, reminded me, it goes all the way back to last year in the tournament when they looked like they were dead. And there are 2 different scenarios here. When they're trailing, they come back and they win the game in the second half, or when it's close or they have a small lead, they absolutely pull away in the second half. And this has been a thing now for a long time, going back to last year's title run. But they're power rating-wise, Paulie, they're not quite like at Michigan's level, maybe even Duke right now, but they're right behind them.
Mm-hmm. In a good test tonight. In a good, it's unfortunate that the West Coast Conference has moved their games to Wednesday nights, so you're not left with a lot of good matchups on Thursday now.
Right.
But you're looking at a battle for the 2 seed here. It could be the 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament, and also what could happen here. And I know Chris Felica likes Purdue and thinks they can take out Sparty because of the issues they've had on the road and how the offense disappears. So be a good test here for Purdue as well if they can get in that discussion. If you think they're maybe a team that could go to Elite Eight or something like that. But it's a big number tonight at home for the Boilermakers.
Yeah, so can Purdue put together back-to-back games like that at home as they absolutely obliterated Indiana? And that was a revenge game, and they had a couple of spots before the Indiana game, and that was a get-right game, and they did. And now can they put together like 2 A-plus performances in a row? This number's up to 8 at some books. All the projection sites are at about 6. Greg Peterson here at VSiN has Purdue -2 in the game. Both teams are 22-5. Both teams are 13-14 against the spread. I'm not going to get involved at this point. Maybe in play. That'd be about it. You also have some lower league teams with super gaudy records laying huge numbers tonight, like NC Wilmington, a team that was kind of a dark horse. Like, watch out for this team in the tournament as maybe a 12 or a 13 seed all the way back in October or November. They're 24-4. They're laying 12. Actually, the sites have them much higher in this game, up to 14.5. Against NCA&T and High Point. They're laying 11 at Presbyterian. They're 26-4. I know a lot of people who are they're big fans of this team this year. G Unit makes them 13 in the game. Art Torvik only makes it 9. And the other one, Paul Stone's going to have a play on this game coming up in an hour. Liberty is laying a couple at Kennesaw State. Liberty is 23-4. And they have been a good team for, it feels like, several years now running, and a team that you might want to avoid in certain tournaments. And in the Summit League, both these teams have more than 20 wins on the year. North Dakota State is 23-6. They play at the Tommies, 21-8. And the Tommies taking money. There were 3s out there, 3.5, 4. And now here at Circa, it's back to 3, but -115. Greg Peterson, by far, he is the Lone Ranger here. He has them an 8-point favorite in the game tonight, and he wrote this up at the website, obviously making a case for the Tommies to win this game and cover. And he wrote it up at -3.
I'm ready to tip it off next week. Let's just get to these conference tournaments.
Isn't it weird with the new schedule overall, the sports schedule? The NFL season finishes later than ever. As we talk about, you take maybe a couple of days off, you take a vacation, you come back, you're
right into the madness.
And then all of a sudden, hey guys,
That's
it's March.
Yep.
It just zips by like that.
Yeah. But a lot of big line moves tonight, too. NBA, like I mentioned, what's going on in this Arlington game, 125 up to 134. So it'll turn out to be a fun night in the world of sports.
Yeah, it's a pretty big move, Paulie, this time of year.
Yeah.
Let's get there with Eastern Washington,
though,
first and foremost.
Get that on X, too, Lou. Tweet that up. Tweet how you arrive at your number and everything. That'd be good to get going because you're 79%.
And by the way, he's out for VSiN Pro subscribers. He's posting them now on the website as well. So you can find them there. Up next, we have zeroed in on some NBA bets over the course of a busy Thursday card. And I took a shot with a player prop that pays higher than 3-1. I'll tell you who that player is coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace.
Last year, I went through many different life changes. I needed to take a pause and examine how I was feeling in the inside to better show up for the ones who need me to be my best version of myself.
When you're navigating life's changes, Talkspace can help. Talkspace is the #1 rated online therapy, bringing you professional support from licensed therapists and psychiatry providers that you can access anytime, anywhere.
Living a busy life, navigating a long-distance relationship, becoming a first-step father, Talkspace made all of those journeys possible. I could speak with my therapist in the office. I could speak with my therapist in the comfort of my home. I was never alone.
Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay, no insurance, no problem. Now get $80 off your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
So you're running out of closet space. The good news? You don't need to stop shopping. You just need to start selling with The RealReal. The RealReal is the world's largest and most trusted resource for authenticated luxury resale. Whether it's that mini bag that can't even fit your phone, or those boots you never fully broke in, The RealReal handles everything from photography and copywriting to shipping and pricing. So you can just sit back, get paid, and make room for things that actually feel like you. And with 10,000 plus new arrivals every single day from top designers like Prada, Celine, Louis Vuitton, and Loewe, all for up to 90% off retail, you're bound to find something perfectly on brand to fill that extra closet space with. Plus, right now, you can get an extra $100 to shop when you sell for the first time. Make room for what feels like you. Go to therealreal.com to start selling and get your extra $100 to keep shopping at therealreal.com. That's therealreal.com. Terms apply.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Busy hour on tap. A lot of college basketball. We'll talk some NFL, door one or door two. Thanks for watching, as always, on YouTube TV, listening on SiriusXM channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or any of our great affiliates across the country. And we will begin talking college basketball on tonight's card as Paul Stone joins the program. Follow him on X. He's at Paul Stone Sports. He's the defending champion of the college basketball contest that starts this weekend. And plays are going to be out with Tim Murray on the Saturday morning show, which is 9 to noon Eastern time. Paul, good to talk to you as always, my man. How are you?
Good, good to be with you guys, Mitch and Paulie. Today's my anniversary, Abby and I's anniversary, and she said, "Do we have special plans?" And I said, "Well, man, I don't know about you, but I'm going to be on with Mitch and Paulie on VSiN at 5 p.m. Eastern. So celebrating my anniversary with you guys, but in seriousness, we're going to go have a libation and a meal when we get through visiting and talking about the great sport of college basketball."
Yeah, I like that. Honey, here's the deal. I'm going on Follow the Money. You can go back to the other room and watch if you would like, and I'll talk to you later on tonight. So we only have one marquee game on the schedule really tonight with a couple of ranked teams in action, Michigan State and Purdue. But we're gonna get a little dirty here and go to the much lower leagues in college hoops tonight. Let's begin with Liberty and Kennesaw State. This game was floating around Flames -2 throughout the morning. Now here we are getting closer to tip time, and it's pick 'em at several spots here against Kennesaw. And Liberty has 23 wins on the year. What do you want to do with this number?
Yeah, at 23-4 and 15-1 in Conference USA, Liberty holds a healthy 4-game lead. I think there's 4 games to go. They can clinch the Conference USA title, regular season title, with a victory tonight at Kennesaw State. And the Flames, they're actually coming off their first conference loss of the season, a really embarrassing showing by Liberty.
Yep.
They lose on their home floor by 21 points, 94-73 to Western Kentucky. So I would think Liberty head coach Richie McKay, he's in his 13th season there in Lynchburg. I would think he has the full attention of the Flames. I would expect a real strong bounce-back effort. I think, at this time of the year, it's very important for us to not suffer from recency bias or become a prisoner of the moment. They've played 30 games or so before that decisive loss. So I think we're going to buy, you want to sell high and buy low. We're going to buy low here on the Flames. And they've been really good on the road. They've covered or won rather all 9 games on the opponent's home floor in conference play. Been showing, improvement all year. I think they're the best team in the league. And something else I'll bring up, the point shaving indictment that unfortunately came down in January. I think Kennesaw State was probably the team that this season, their on-the-floor product was probably impacted more than any other team in college basketball. They lost their top player, Simeon Cottle. Cottle averaged 18 points a game last year. Through the first 17 games this year, averaged over 20 points a game. So that has dramatically impacted Kennesaw State. I like Liberty to get the victory tonight at Kennesaw.
Okay, we really like the Big West, and they've done well in the tournament, winning games over the course of the last 20 years. The story last year with UC San Diego was fantastic. State the case for UC Davis tonight, please.
I'll tell you, way back, I'll start, talking about their opponent who's traveling to the mainland, Hawaii. Way back on November 4th, Paulie, the opening day of college basketball season, we had over 150 games that day. Greg Peterson, Hoops, could tell you the exact number that day. But Hawaii traveled to Eugene to play Oregon. They lost to the Ducks 60-59 in that opener. They didn't play another game on the mainland the rest of the calendar year. Their next road game on the mainland was actually January 1st, and that's not atypical of the Rainbow Warriors, non-conference schedule. They play a lot of games at home. They have budgetary issues because they have to do so much travel, not only in basketball and football, but in other sports. So teams love to come to Hawaii. So they play a lot of home games. But what I think it did was they got off to an 11-2 start, and I think it was a little bit misleading. I think they were a little bit overvalued. And in fact, I believe that's been the case. They're 4-4 straight up in their last 8 Big West road games. They've lost at Cal San Diego by 14, Cal Santa Barbara by 13, Cal Irvine by 11, and Cal Northridge lost to them as well. They lost all 4 of those games by double digits. They lost to Cal Irvine in overtime, so that's quite misleading. And this Cal Davis team may be a little bit lower power rating than the composite of those 4 teams that Hawaii lost to on the road, but still in that same category. I think Hawaii's a little bit overrated. I think Cal Davis gets the victory tonight on the mainland over the Rainbow Warriors.
Okay, you're going to have plenty of plays, obviously, like everybody else, on Saturday morning, again, when Tim Murray hosts the show here on VSiN for the first weekend of the college basketball contest. You are the reigning champion. You defeated Tim Murray last year. He came in second. Future-wise, what are you looking at this point as March is now this weekend?
I'm glad I didn't have to take Tim Murray into the low post, Mitch, because he's got about a foot on me, and it would be ugly. So, futures-wise, looking at the teams that are available right now, usually I'll start out by saying this. It's better typically to get your futures early before the season, when the price is still right, you can get some value. But this Arkansas team, back before the season started, they were, in the 25-1 range to win the national title. And today, as we're about to enter March, they're 50-1. And I think that's a little bit, of a value on Arkansas here. You look at this club in a year where we have so many outstanding true freshmen. I mean, we have more this year. I think we have twice as many great true freshman players, performers, than we typically have in a college basketball season. But Darius Acuff Jr., he might not be the best of the bunch, but he's certainly among them. 22.2 points per game, 6.2 assists per game, better than 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. And also averages right at 3 rebounds a game. So Acuff, for those of you, the viewers and listeners who watched the game last week at Alabama, the 117-116 double overtime victory by the Crimson Tide, Acuff good for 49 points in that game. He's a scoring machine. They've got Trevon Brazile underneath. That guy defends the basket as well as almost anybody in college basketball, almost 13 points a game, 7 rebounds, 1.6 blocks, and 1.5 steals. So he affects the game in a lot of ways. So I could see Arkansas going a long way in the tournament. And they have a pretty good coach as well. Coach Cal has won a few college basketball games and been in that tournament before. So I think Arkansas at 50-1 is a good value. And then a shorter shot, the Florida Gators.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a team. It's hard to believe that early January – they lose. I think it was their conference opener they lose. They're 9-5. They're not even ranked in the next poll in either of the 2 major polls. And since then, they've just been, dominant. They're 13-1 straight up in their last 14. Those 13 victories during that string have come by almost 19 points a game. So they're not just defeating SEC opposition. They're manhandling their opposition. You got veteran players who've obviously they're the defending national champions. So Thomas Houck's been there before. Alex Condon, just a great front line. Ruben Chinyelu down low, maybe the nation's best interior defender. So Florida, pretty much market wide in that neighborhood of 10-1. I think Florida's a team that could repeat and raise the banner again in Gainesville.
Totally agree. By the way, this is the program that could repeat for the second time going back 20 years. They did it in, 06 and 07 with that unbelievable team under Billy Donovan. A couple minutes left here. Paul Stone's our guest, professional sports bettor. Follow him on X at Paul Stone Sports. You also have a couple of futures here in college baseball. I'm absolutely all ears. I don't have a team in the portfolio yet. Who do you like at this point, maybe to win a conference / the whole thing?
Well, you guys know me, and I think you know that I went to the University of Texas. But unlike some people, I'm more apt to bet against the Longhorns than I am to bet on the Longhorns. But there's an exception to every rule, and this year's University of Texas baseball team is that exception as far as my futures betting portfolio. Their second-year head coach, Jim Schlossnagle, he once upon a time, I want to start with this. Once upon a time, Schlossnagle, I think in the 2002, maybe 2003 area, he was the head coach at UNLV.
Correct.
And he was covered by a young Cub reporter working for the Review-Journal, Matt Humans, covered Jim Schlossnagle. I think that was Schlossnagle's first head coaching job at the major college level. Maybe not Matt's first newspaper job, but he covered Schlossnagle there at UNLV. Anyway, Schlossnagle, he's a guy who's widely regarded as one of the best coaches in all of college baseball, closing in on his 1,000th victory. I think that's going to come sometime in early March. But he's a guy who last year, in his first year in Austin, after coming over from Texas A&M, under his tutelage, Texas got to number 1 in the polls, probably didn't deserve it, but got to number 1, won the regular season title in the SEC, faltered in the playoffs, actually lost to Texas San Antonio in the regional round of the playoffs. But this Texas team, they are clearly a better team in Schlossnagle's second season. Some of that due to the addition of a couple of players, and there's more, but 2 key additions through the portal. First of all, their catcher, Carter Tenney, a guy from Notre Dame. He was coveted by everybody, the most coveted catcher, certainly in the portal for college baseball. Great defender, has some stick as well. 3 homers through 8 games so far for the Longhorns. Their new center fielder, Aiden Robbins, he's a guy who started 96 games total in his first 2 years at Seton Hall. He is a kamikaze defender. He's already made some highlight reel catches, probably going to be their best offensive player for Texas as well. He's a guy who's hit 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, just really a great addition. And then their closer, Thomas Burns, throws 97, 98 every pitch. Ball moves all over the place. 3 2/3 inning, 9 strikeouts of his 11 outs. You can get Texas to win the national championship plus 1,600 there at FanDuel. And then at DraftKings, I like this one even probably more. At DraftKings to win the regular season title, the SEC regular season title, Texas at plus 600. I like the Longhorns at plus 600 to win the regular season title as well.
I love it. Now, that's dynamite info right there and analysis. Paul, thank you. Best of luck tonight and this weekend, okay?
Hey, see you guys soon. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Paul.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Time to hit some NFL here. Big fan of our next guest. Joined us in the studio last month. Does a dynamite job covering the New York Jets and also the NFL for SiriusXM NFL Radio. His show is called Press Coverage. You can follow him on X at Jets Whispers. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. Dan Leberfeld on the program. Hey, Dan, good afternoon. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's always great to be on with you guys.
The feeling is mutual. ESPN had a big story yesterday. A bunch of different people contributed. They predicted the week 1 starter for every single quarterback in the league this upcoming season. For the Jets, they went with Spencer Rattler. Come on, that can't happen, can it?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's the way they would go. I think he's probably better than some people give him credit for. I think that at times there in New Orleans, He didn't have the best supporting cast, and the teams weren't very good. But no, they can't do that. And you know what? I don't think it's that important to make personnel decisions based on the fans. But if you can marry the scenario where you make a really good move and the fans like it, especially when your stadium has a lot of empty seats, I mean, they can't sell Spencer Rattler with a 1-7, 1-13 lifetime record. That's not going to happen. And he's not, he's undersized, bounced around in college. I think he's a good backup.
Are the rumors and the hype, is this true with Simpson, that he could get in the middle of the first round?
Yeah, I think so. I think with Ty Simpson, he's probably a little undervalued. That Alabama team could not run the football. I don't think he's a quarterback that can put the team on his back and throw 50 times and lead you to a victory. But if you give him a balanced attack with the running game with a good defense, you can win with Ty Simpson. I like the fact that his father is a college football coach. He grew up around it. I think that he's a little better than what we saw late last year. So I think with a good combine and a good series of workouts, he certainly could move into the first round. I know, but the middle of the first round, I was thinking more like Jackson Dart vicinity later in the first round.
All right. Yesterday, Mel Kiper mocked Ohio State safety Caleb Downs, number 2 overall, to the Jets. He's the first guy I've seen mock Downs there at number 2 overall. That's like between 30 and 45 to 1 to happen right now, various sports books. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't think that's going to happen because you just – it's not good business to pick safeties that high. There's so many good safeties around the league that were picked later in the draft. Just one guy that comes to mind, not that he was great, but he was very good, Jordan Poyer, 7th-round pick, played forever in the league. You can find those instinctive safeties later in the draft. You don't need guys that run 4.4 at that position. The instincts are the most important thing. And you know what? You could get Dylan Tierman out of Oregon later and get a really good Dylan Thiemann, or out of Oregon later for late first or early second, and get a guy that can be a star safety for you. So no, I don't see that. Jets have to get, they obviously they traded Jermaine Johnson today, the edge rusher. So that kind of makes you think that edge rusher could be the way they go with the second pick of the draft. I think they do need to add a safety. I just don't think that high.
The Colts gave Richardson permission to ask to look for a trade partner. What do you make of Richardson right now, and what do you think where he could wind up, and if a team would be interested in him?
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a lot of interest. I don't think he reads defenses very well, doesn't go through progressions well. He didn't even have a winning record at the University of Florida, and he didn't have a lot of starts. It was a really bad pick. You got the sense, and may rest in peace, that Jimmy Irsay was really the driving force behind that selection. And I had heard that, unfortunately, Jimmy passed, but if he was still around last year, they probably would have been still rolling with Anthony Richardson. That's how much Mr. Irsay believed in him. So that was kind of a Jimmy Irsay pick. That's what owners do. We've seen it with a lot of teams where they fall in love with the size-speed ratio. The guy looks the part at a central casting. But that guy is not a starting NFL quarterback. I'd bring him as a backup, maybe get you through a couple games, but not a long-term starter.
Okay.
He just doesn't see the field well enough.
Fair enough. What happens with Kyler Murray?
That's another guy. Why would you want to trade for that? I mean, we all know what happened a few years ago when they gave him the contract extension, and before he signed it, there was the clause in the contract where they wanted him to work harder, watch more film, and that was in the contract. Then there was a media uproar about it, and they took it out of the contract. If you have to put in a contract, a guy needs to work harder, to be your quarterback, that's ridiculous. So why would another team want to acquire that? Why would you want a 5'10" quarterback who can't really see the field from the pocket, needs to roll out, needs to get out of the pocket to make a lot happen? And, his camp is always leaking stuff, and now they're saying he didn't talk to Monty Ossenford. That camp is very chirpy. I don't know why you'd want to take on that headache.
All right, good opinions. So what happens in Atlanta then? Walk us through what Stefanski in Atlanta could do at quarterback.
I don't understand moving on from Kirk Cousins. I have to be honest with you. I might have gone with Kirk Cousins for a couple of years and made the other guy wait. I mean, what has the other guy really proven? Seriously. When you look at that quarterback situation with Penix, I just don't understand what. Now, the new management there seems to have their heads screwed on straight. Ian Cunningham is a guy highly regarded around the league. Stefanski, 2-time coach of the year. Matt Ryan's a smart guy, but to me, I'd rather go with the veteran Matt Ryan for a couple of years. And because remember one thing about Penix, this guy's had so many surgeries. He's blown out 2 knees, 2 ACL surgeries, had shoulder surgery. Who knows how long he can hold up? He's kind of a house of cards. So I would have kept Cousins around. But so they're gonna have to get somebody else because Penix got hurt relatively late. So I don't think he'll be ready for week 1. But if you're a quarterback on the street, who are you going to get? I mean, Tyrod Taylor is always the perfect hold the fort guy. So maybe Tyrod Taylor.
Well, how about this? Is there a chance Atlanta could start the season with Malik Willis, or do you think there's going to be kind of a bidding war for him?
But that's another one I don't get. I understand this time of year, it's almost like teams get amnesia and they don't look at the film enough because, like, I remember last year, a year ago, when the Jets were thinking about getting Justin Fields and all the fans were talking about what a great idea. You got a raw deal in Chicago. It wasn't coached well there. Didn't have enough weapons. And then in Pittsburgh, he did go 4-2. Yeah, but they were winning, working around him. Yes. It wasn't because of him. So the point is people get so desperate this time of year. Fans, reporters, even team executives are like, Malik Willis. I mean, come on, guys. What are we talking about here? If like I was saying to people, if the Jets signed Malik Willis, Mike Vrabel will be laughing at him in the division. Mike Vrabel didn't want to put that guy on the field.
He's going to get a lot of money, though, Dan.
That's how desperate the league is for these quarterbacks, and the sample size is too small. I think Malik Willis is one of these guys, and we see this with backups, where they go in for a couple games, they get you through a few games, but if they have to be the long-term guy, the opposing defensive coordinators figure them out, and they get shut down. You've seen that with a lot of different guys in the league where, a couple games, fine. The longer they play, the more they figure it out. I think that's Malik Willis. So I know he's going to get a lot of money, you're right, but I wouldn't do it.
No, he's probably going to get between $20 and $35 million a year, if you can believe that. I think, honestly, if something happened to Jordan Love, like right away in the season, I think Matt LaFleur could make it work because Malik Willis has looked way different as a quarterback in Green Bay than he did in Tennessee. But also, if he goes somewhere else, it depends on, I'm going to say that I'm going to be negative on way more teams for his ultimate landing spot than I would be positive.
Yeah, especially with the kind of money he's going to get. The expectations go up. People are going to expect him to be a franchise quarterback. And that's the thing about these contracts. You guys know it. You guys have been doing it a long time. Because you pay someone or you overpay them, they're not going to be better than they are based on the contract. So I think that's going to be an issue for Malik Willis. If he can go to a place, we're seeing these offensive coordinators now, Ben Johnson doing a wonderful job with Caleb Williams. You look at Liam Cohn with Trevor Lawrence, and I'll even bring up Kellen Moore, down in New Orleans with Chuck. The guys that these brilliant young offensive coordinators who see the game through the eyes of the quarterback, they set up confidence-building play calling. They set up easy throws. They manufacture production. If Malik Willis goes to a place with a brilliant offensive coordinator that can make the game somewhat easy for him, he can make all the throws. He's got tremendous speed. But if he goes to a place where they don't have the infrastructure, a team could be asking for trouble with that signing.
1 minute left. I think we all agree on this, too, and you tweeted about it. The Texans GM, unsolicited, brought up it'd be moronic to trade C.J. Stroud. We just saw the meltdown in the playoffs. Davis Mills saved their season. Everyone needs a quarterback. Imagine the haul they could get for him.
Yeah, I would consider trading him. That was one of those things, sometimes I've been in a million press conferences. They come after you, they try to make you look an idiot for the question. There was nothing wrong with the question. I thought his answer was a little over the top. No, it's not moronic to trade that quarterback we saw in the playoffs. It wouldn't be moronic. Now, you don't want to give him away, and also the advantage they have is I don't think they're going to do a long-term deal, guys. So they're going to have him at the end of his rookie contract. So I wouldn't give him away, but I would consider trading him if they were blown away.
Great spot as always, Dan. Thank you for the time. We appreciate that.
Anytime, guys.
Follow Dan on X. He's at Jets Whispers, Jets Confidential Magazine. Up next, all things considered, now might be the time to buy low. Door 1 or door 2 coming up.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace.
Last year, I went through many different life changes. I needed to take a pause and examine how I was feeling in the inside to better show up for the ones who need me to be my best version of myself.
When you're navigating life's changes, Talkspace can help. Talkspace is the #1 rated online therapy, bringing you professional support from licensed therapists and psychiatry providers that you can access anytime, anywhere.
Living a busy life, navigating a long-distance relationship, becoming a first-step father, Talkspace made all of those journeys possible. I could speak with my therapist in the office. I could speak with my therapist in the comfort of my home. I was never alone.
Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay, no insurance, no problem. Now get $80 off your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
So you're running out of closet space. The good news? You don't need to stop shopping. You just need to start selling with The RealReal. The RealReal is the world's largest and most trusted resource for authenticated luxury resale. Whether it's that mini bag that can't even fit your phone, or those boots you never fully broke in, The RealReal handles everything from photography and copywriting to shipping and pricing. So you can just sit back, get paid, and make room for things that actually feel like you. And with 10,000 plus new arrivals every single day from top designers like Prada, Celine, Louis Vuitton, and Loewe, all for up to 90% off retail, you're bound to find something perfectly on brand to fill that extra closet space with. Plus, right now, you can get an extra $100 to shop when you sell for the first time. Make room for what feels like you. Go to therealreal.com to start selling and get your extra $100 to keep shopping at therealreal.com. That's therealreal.com. Terms apply.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Good to have you on board. Coming up this hour, I will tell you about a trend in the NBA. 91% of the last 46 title winners have done. And through 60 games, 3 teams qualify. That's in 15 minutes. Best bets in soccer. Steve Wiss will join us coming up in 30 minutes. And right now, we'll talk National Hockey League as it returned to the ice last night. Jonathan Davis joins the program. He is VSiN's leading NHL betting analyst, and he is on the Progressive guest line. JD, good to talk to you as always. Takeaways or observations from a betting standpoint overall last night. What did you see?
Well, a lot of sloppy play. I mean, like I was at the game in Los Angeles, where the LA Kings were playing a depleted Vegas team that had all 5 of their Olympians sitting in Washington, and they still couldn't find a way to beat Vegas. And if you're Edmonton, the team that LA plays tonight, I mean, you led that game until 74 seconds left in regulation, and then you lose in regulation. Those are tough ones. So those are 2 teams, LA more so. That was a tough loss because they're out of a playoff spot right now. Both those teams will get a crack at it tonight, but points are at a premium for teams like Los Angeles.
How does the break affect these teams? Number one, they're on hot streaks with what's going on with the Wild with an 18-2 overrun for the game, and also the streak. What do you want to do with Columbus? They had won 11-12 going into the break.
Well, I think for the Wild, look, they've got a lot of guys at the Olympics. And I think the advantage that Colorado has going into this game tonight is that they've got a game under their belt. I think that's a huge advantage for the Avalanche. So, when you're looking at this game tonight, like we continue to ride the over streak. You're getting it now at 6 for the total. I think at worst you push. Minnesota 18-2 heading into the break to the over, and that one of those 2 unders was a 5-1 game against these Avalanche. In the case of Columbus.
Okay, we lost him. By the way, so we'll pick it up with Jonathan Davis in a second. Let me point this out as he was talking about that, and I'll tie in the Golden Knights last night and a bad loss by the Kings. Have you seen the Golden Knights schedule, what the NHL did to them?
No.
So coming 5, no, they had 8 Olympians? Whatever it was.
That was 5.
Okay, was it 5? Was it that low?
Well,
I thought originally it was going to be.
Go
okay.
ahead. Yeah,
anyway,
okay.
5 guys missed the game. Okay, so they missed the game last night. They played in LA. two of them, including Jack Eichel, they were on SVP last night at SportsCenter, which is located in D.C. now, obviously, has been for many years. The team has to fly then to D.C. and play tomorrow night. And this road trip then continues at Pittsburgh, at Buffalo, at Detroit before they come back home on Friday and take on Minnesota. It's Did you see that, by the way, JD, before you... I know you cut off there, but I mean, what the league did to the Golden Knights here with the schedule coming up?
Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal, but at least they get a day off. Look, the schedule's been really tough on a lot of teams, guys. I mean, you know, the thing that I've really hated is that teams will go play 5 games on the road, come back for 1 home game, and then go back and play 2 more on the road. Mm-hmm. So it's just what you have to deal with the condensed schedule.
What do you think in Montreal and the Islanders? A couple crazy angles here that you wrote about in your article today, VSiN.com.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the home team has won 9 straight between the Islanders and the Canadiens. Montreal at home tonight. You've got the Steve McKinnon trend that came out that he has in his latest column, where the Canadiens are 10-0 to the over when playing against teams with a goals against average of 2.9 or less. So giving up 2.9 less goals a game or fewer, and that's the Islanders. So Montreal, I do like the Canadiens. I like, I'd be on the over as well. And the other thing I would do with this game, guys, is I would play, you can do this at BetMGM is one location you can do this wager. You can play Montreal and the Islanders both to score 2 and parlay that with Edmonton and Los Angeles both to score 2. You get that at about plus 125.
Okay, so goals there in both the games. And how about the Wild playing at the Avalanche tonight? Colorado now played last night, and this is the Wild's first game, obviously, since the break. Your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, so what I would do is I like playing, these teams that have already got a game under their belt. I would play Colorado first period money line and first team to score the first goal of the first period. That's one, just a little instant gratification there. The over, to me, is the best play. And then you've got, Nathan MacKinnon's got 6 goals in 9 games against Minnesota goalie Philip Gustafson, and Kirill Kaprizov, I think it's 4 goals in 6 games against Colorado starter Mackenzie Blackwood. So those are a couple of player props that you can approach with this one.
You cut off there, but you mentioned and you're on the over, 18-2 overrun for the game. How about the first period again, though, too? They played 11 straight overs and 13 of 14 first period overs for the Wild.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the first period. You could play the first period over. I didn't do that yet. I mean, the one thing, like I said, with the first period, I just grab Colorado first goal, first period, and first period money line. But definitely the first period over would be in play as well.
And there's another game, too. You mentioned it briefly there by you wanted to do that parlay with the Oilers and the Kings, each team scoring 2 goals in that game tonight. But, man, both teams suffered bad losses last night. What other bets do you have in this game overall?
Love the over in this one here. You get that over 6.5. I mean, look, the Oilers were on a 6-0-2 run to the over going into the break. They don't have a goalie that can stop a beach ball right now. And then I would continue to ride Artemi Panarin of now the LA Kings. He had his debut last night. He's got 3 goals in 4 games against Connor Ingram, the Oilers goalie tonight. So I would target Panarin for a goal. And I like Mike Palm's angle that he talked about with you guys with the Russians. Again, Panarin over 1.5 points. The Oilers are going to give up goals. I don't see why Panarin can't put up 2 more points tonight.
Yeah, by the way, of all the Russian players that Mike Palm talked about yesterday on the show to play their player props over, the only one that didn't cash was Ovechkin to score a goal. Yeah.
No, I was paying attention to that one, and with that, I was watched Kucherov as well. Look, you've got Andrei Svechnikov for Carolina is another one that I would look at tonight. Both point prop and shots on goal prop. These guys are fresh, and I'm sure there's a bit of a chip on their shoulder.
Okay. Any future numbers now that we're out of that Olympic break as of last night and moving into tonight's action? Any future numbers on the board right now that you still like?
Well, it's not the best price, but the Pittsburgh Penguins to miss the playoffs, it's only plus 105. But Pittsburgh's got the toughest schedule in the NHL down the stretch. They're going to be without Sidney Crosby for 5 weeks. It's not a big plus money return, but that's one that I would look at because they got it. Like I said, they have the hardest schedule based on the people over at moneypuck.com project based on on the teams that they're facing down the stretch.
Jonathan Davis, our guest, he's on the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow him on X at West Coast HKY NHL, and he is VSiN's leading NHL betting analyst on the Progressive Guest Line. Let me throw this at you. FanDuel has a prop up involving Nathan MacKinnon and the Colorado Avalanche, and it's basically MacKinnon to win the Hart, the Art Ross, and the Rocket Richard, and the Abs to win the Cup at plus 1160. I know that you saw that prop earlier today. What did you make of it?
I mean, it's a nice, juicy number. The concern that I would have, when it comes to the Hart Trophy voting is that, look, Nikita Kucherov did not win each of the last 2 years where he led the NHL in scoring. He's having another phenomenal year in Tampa. He's got a 30-point lead over the second leading scorer on Tampa. Now MacKinnon is in a similar spot, with the point spread, but amount of points between him and the second leading scorer. I think the roster in Tampa is not as good as Colorado. And then the other thing you have to factor in is if Macklin, Celebrini, and the Sharks make it into the playoffs. For me, there is no question, and I took Celebrini at plus 750 a while ago. He has to win the Hart Trophy if San Jose gets in. That is the definition of what an MVP is. Right. So, I think that those are the things that would get in MacKinnon's way.
Jonathan, great as always. Appreciate you taking some time to join us on the program today. Best of luck tonight.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
You too. Thank you.
Back at you. Yeah, he mentioned that too, some of the schedule stuff. That's been happening throughout the year. Not all the time, but it's like a team will go on a 4 or 5 game road trip. They come back for one game, and then they leave the next day to go play another game on the road or 2 more on the road. That is it's something, and we'll talk about that, by the way. We have a whole list of like Malinsky specials coming up, but it's got to be a big part of the factor, I think, here out of the break and then moving forward for the rest of the season.
Rousey Carano was May 16th. Rousey's last fight was 2016.
That was her last fight.
Carano retired after she lost to Cyborg in 2009.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
What are we doing? Oh. She was in Strikeforce.
I got to be honest. Like, is that part of another card?
It's Jake Paul's most valuable promotions type thing, yeah.
But so they're going to put,
like
is that the main event?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah. And, it'll probably do decent numbers. I'm guessing.
I don't know about this Pacquiao thing. I don't know if it's going to do that well.
Because don't underestimate Netflix.
Yeah, all right.
That's a worldwide
and the
thing.
Sphere thing angle too.
Yeah, for sure. People are going to remember when I think the UFC was a big deal when they did it at the Sphere. A lot of people were intrigued by the idea of that there.
Are you surprised the Metallica's only 8 dates?
Stunned.
Yeah.
You better get in and get your tickets. Otherwise, on the secondary market, forget about it.
Yeah.
Those might be 5 dimes on the secondary market.
They know what they're doing too. They have such a deep catalog. You're not going to get a completely different set list.
It's the no repeat weekend. They're going to do it. So if you're going to go on Friday, don't you have to go on Sunday?
I can't believe 8 dates. Oh, damn.
Again, when I saw them in Seattle last year, they did right out of the gates, Blackened, Harvester of Sorrow, Orion, Leper Messiah. I'm like, okay, now we are really into this bad boy.
Yeah.
But that was worth the price of admission of flying up to Seattle to watch him perform. So how about this? We've cleared 60 games in the NBA. What does that mean? 91% of the last 46 NBA champions have accomplished this through 60 games. I'll give you the details coming up next.